I prepared notes because I'm still sick, so I'm still trying to get on top of things. So I actually wrote, "Hello, lovely human beings," because I would have forgotten that for some reason, maybe. But I am super humbled to be here today and to know that things like this happen because everybody comes together and supports each other. I'll do a little bit of background about me and then we'll get into something a little bit more fun, hopefully. So my name is Sylvia. I am Egyptian and I was born and grew up in Libya. Some fun facts is does everybody know who Muammar Gaddafi is? Yeah. So I actually hung around his house once and met Lionel Richie there. I graduated high school at 15 and worked as a teacher for 2 years teaching Muammar Gaddafi's grandkids. This was not a fun experience. Because of the civil war that started in Libya, because my parents worked there and then transcended to Egypt, in my second year of university, I had to work 6 jobs while doing a full course load to get through school. And understanding some of the struggles that newcomers face when they come to Canada, after graduating, I started a social enterprise to support newcomers, whether it's through engagement, whether it's supports and starting their own businesses, because I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. After that, I was 2 weeks away from being deported because of a mistake on my PR. I just finished a master's degree, and she won't get deported. Don't worry, hopefully. I just completed my master's degree, and while I was finishing my master's degree, I got to travel around to 14 countries, which was amazing. And recently got nominated and shortlisted for top 75 Canadian immigrants, along with Elizabeth Dumont and Ding Fan, which is something I'm really proud of. Thank you. When I think of some of the challenges, some of the accomplishments, and my PR got declined, it's the worst nightmare anybody could ever face. You're like, what do I do tomorrow? Like, do I pack my bags? Your whole life just gets uprooted so fast, and those days are really dark. But I like to think that I came out of this very successful, and I like to think that I'm successful right now, regardless of all the challenges that kind of happen, whether it's living in Canada or back home. But the only thing that kept me going is my community. St. Mary's, when I was in university, supported me to get through school. After St. Mary's, getting the thumbs up from St. Mary's, my friends, whether my mentors, whether it's giving me that slap in the face, get up, get going, get moving, don't fall behind. And one thing that resonates a lot, what kept me staying here in Nova Scotia, is the community. I went to Ontario and I thought, that's it, I'm going to live in Ontario. And Ontario had a lot of things. It had the job, it had events and nightlife, but did not have community. And that's one of the reasons I came back to Nova Scotia and I decided to stay in Nova Scotia. A lot of newcomers, though, don't have that community feel. Last year, and over the past 3 years, Nova Scotia welcomed 1,500 refugees. And I'll share with you a little story that really took me back and made me really emotional. I have heard about this woman that had come in February. She's a single mom with 4 kids, went through really hard life in Syria and Lebanon. And when I had gone to visit her, I called ahead of time and let her know I was coming. She had prepared this big feast. I felt like, I was an important figure coming to visit. It was fantastic. We spent like 7 hours there, and it felt like an hour. And I was heading to the washroom, and I saw her in the kitchen with her daughter, her eldest daughter, and she was crying. And I just thought something was wrong. I was like, did I say something? Went over to her, and I asked her what was wrong, and she was like, this is the first time I felt happy since I've come to Canada. And I went back and I was like, what are settlement organizations doing? What's happening? Like, how is this mom so lonely and how can she not have supports around her? And I was like, who can I call? I call ISANS, I call YMCA, I work for some organization, the YWCA, so I call, I was like, what can we do, what can we do? And it's like, well, they can't do anything. They can't be her friends. They can't go there and visit. It's me, it's you, it's everybody here. And sometimes, and I understand a lot of people try to help, and sometimes like, I just don't know how to help. How do I get involved? How do I become that support figure? Because people that have lived here, you know things that they might not know. You know how to access services, you know how to access supports, you know how to navigate systems, and that's something that's sometimes it's really a struggle for somebody who does not understand the language, who does not understand the culture, who faces a lot of barriers, like 7 kids maybe, and that's a very common thing. So having that support person there is sometimes very important. So for that family, I took a couple of my friends, and now they go to her, they visit her, and I feel like she's gonna be okay, and it makes me happy that she's gonna be okay. But, you know, when you look around Uniacke Square, a lot of the newcomers, a lot of the refugees have been resettled there. And something that you might know, or you should know about Uniacke Square is a lot of the people that were removed from Africville were relocated there a long time ago, and that has become their homes. They have lived there for such a long time, and they've been asked to kind of resettle because of the refugees, to make place for the refugees, and that has created a lot of divide between the refugees and the people living there. There are already 2 minority groups who are really struggling, and I'm not very familiar with some of the African Nova Scotian issues, so I won't get into that, but I know there are struggles there. But I'll focus on newcomers because that's my passion, that's what I know about. But if you walk down Uniacke Square and you see a newcomer woman or a child, and you just say hello, do you know what they'll do? They will drag you into their house and make you a big meal and tell you that you're always welcome. That's how much they want company. That's how much they want supports. And sometimes it's as little as a hello. Sometimes it's little as a chat. And I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about that because it's something that I know collectively we can do. It's not something that we need to put under a roof of an organization or make an event out of it, or that should be everybody's responsibility. So going to someone's house, you don't need an event or an organization to visit your friends. You don't need it to visit your family, and that should be no different. We're told that we need people to stay in Nova Scotia, that we need the integration, we need the inclusiveness, and sometimes we are part of that as well. And to see just so many young and incredible and passionate people around this room, I can't even imagine the potential of connecting with people. And this actually came at such a good time because on Sunday, the 19th, at 8 o'clock, at Victoria Hall on Garden Street, we are turning our first, a couple of my friends and I live on a floor, and we're opening up the floor and we're having a community feast. We're gonna have all the newcomers, all the local people, to try to have all the newcomers, some of the local community from Uniacke Square come up and have a community feast. It's an awesome avenue to connect with people, to get to know people, or even to just say hello. Like, all you have to do is show up, bring a meal, and share with people. And you think language is a barrier, but holy cow, you find a way. When you have 7 kids running around you, just not leaving you alone and just demanding your attention and your love, you can't just walk away from that. It's a really magnificent experience, and I really would like to encourage all of you to just be part of that so that we can have a better Nova Scotia and a better community here. Thank you.